Hi, everyone.
Hey, y'all.
Welcome to the first episode of Beyond The Barricade.
Our little side project to Backing The Barricade.
I don't even, is it a,
Not
it's
a side, it's an extension. That's a better word.
Yes.
Our extension of Backing The Barricade.
It's our new little addition, our new little flavor.
It rounds it out, really.
It really does. And it's not separate. We're not abandoning Backing The Barricade. It's just an enhancement.
Yeah.
I like that word.
We're telling the whole story.
Yeah. We're really getting all sides of everything now.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, Backing The Barricade is all about you guys. It's all about the fans, music. But how did we get there? I don't even know if everybody knows.
Yeah. I don't even know if we've really
Explained
the story behind Backing The Barricade and why we started it. So
tell that story a little bit.
Yeah. Before we kind of tell you about the podcast, we will rewind a little bit and tell you about Backing The Barricade. First of all, if you don't know or haven't heard the story, basically, this is an idea of mine that I've been sitting on for 4 years. And it took meeting L'Oreal to actually make it come to life. But the idea basically came from me obviously being a big music fan and an avid concert attendee, a concert goer, if you will.
Concert connoisseur.
Yep. I've spent the better part of the last 10 years going to as many shows as I can. I eventually became a concert photographer, basically so I could attend more shows without having to spend my entire life savings on a ticket or tickets. And from that, one of the things that I really, really value about concerts is the community aspect of it. And I was really inspired by all of the stories that I've heard over the years and the people that I've met just attending so many shows. And it's one of my favorite things when either waiting in line for doors to open at a venue or waiting in between artists at a show, you kind of naturally interact with the people around you. And from just the many shows that I've been to over the years and just so many people that I've met that way so organically, I have gotten to hear so many cool stories because obviously everyone there kind of talks about how long they've been a fan and like their connection to the artists that we're all there to see. And so I have gotten to hear so many cool stories about people meeting their now spouses or meeting their best friend or traveling around the US, traveling around the world to go see their favorite artist, or just like crazy stories that they have around concerts that they attend and things that happen at them. And I remember so distinctly when I was in college, I was very fortunate, kind of. I went to Texas A&M, which is in College Station, Texas, which is not a concert hotspot. However, it is situated nicely in between Austin and Houston. So
geographically,
yes,
it's a nice spot to be in for that reason.
If you don't mind a little hour, I don't even remember how long it is, hour and a half drive. I don't know. Anyway, it's in
like
between.
A 9-hour drive from here.
Anywhere in Texas.
Yes.
Anyway, I was situated to where I was kind of evenly in between Houston and Austin. And so a lot of times when artists announced tours and they had shows in both cities.
Oh, you could go to both.
I would go to both. And people that I would tell that to or, just kind of come up in conversation, people were like, why would you do that? Like, isn't it the same show? And I was like, no, because the crowd.
It's different.
It's the audience that makes it different. It's the people who you're around the whole time. It's how the artist interacts with the crowd. Especially All Time Low is one of my favorite bands that, this is like a prime example of they're so good at crowd work and good at interacting with people. And so especially when like them or bands that are really good about interacting with fans would come around. I was like,
stage work.
Yeah. Every show's different. And that's why I would go to multiple dates and people would think that's crazy if you're not like a big concert goer, but it's the audience.
There's also a little I feel like beef with major Texas cities where they always try to outdo each other. And so I know bands do it all where they're like, Houston was last night, let's see how much better you. And it's kind of like cheesy, but also like people here take that so seriously.
Oh, so seriously.
They're like fuck Houston, we're going to be better in Dallas and vice versa. So I feel like that definitely, you just see all of it.
Oh yeah. An artist will egg them on and be like, well, Houston was doing a lot better last night. It was great. So yeah, it kind of stemmed from that, where I felt like there were so many stories that were happening on that side of the barricade that
waiting in line.
No one was paying attention to, no one was sharing. And I just thought it's such a big piece of the night and the story that's happening and the experience that everyone is having that I wanted a space for that to be told.
Nobody was talking about it. Those stories were just dying at the venue.
Yeah. And we can kind of dive into it, but both of us are concert photographers now. And I always felt like I was only able to tell half the story by having photos of the artist, because I was like, this is cool and this is the show, but like you didn't see all of the crazy stage divers or like the pit that opened up, or
you see that fan crying, but you're like, why are they crying so much? And it's like, we know the story because we talk to them. But
and I think that's what makes live music so powerful, and it's why we don't just sit at home and listen to records and just let that be it. Like there's an extra element to live music.
So you identified that. And you were like, these stories, I want to tell them.
And I was really inspired by that. And I just had always thought in my head that it would be so cool. My original idea, which is kind of what we're doing now, was I wanted basically a Humans of New York, if you're familiar with that account.
If you're on the internet.
Yes. If you've ever seen that, which I'm sure is everyone. If you haven't, look it up. Brandon Stanton, I think is his name. He's fantastic. Anyway, I basically wanted to do the Humans of New York, but for concerts. And I wanted the Humans of Concerts. That doesn't have the right ring to it, but Backing the Barricade sounds better. That's why we went with that. But I basically wanted to do that. I wanted to go and I wanted to interview people, and I wanted to talk about their connection with the artists that we were all there to see and share the stories.
And you had that idea for how long?
And I had that idea for a good 4 years. But Madison is a little chicken, and she was never going to go up to strangers by herself and ask for interviews. And so in walks L'Oreal into my life, and everything changed.
This is where I enter in the conversation.
Yes. Do you want to tell the story of how we actually started things to you?
Yeah. So fun fact, Madison and I, our paths have crossed many of times.
Yes.
We discovered after both being concert photographers, we were in the same pit for a few concerts here, and we just never knew. And that kind of happens. But one day we followed each other on Instagram.
We're also both wedding photographers, which I feel like was a thing that tied us, because
there's not many.
There's not many wedding photographers who are also concert photographers. So
it's a very niche subject matter we shoot.
Yes. We just hear L'Oreal's cats in the background.
Don't worry about them. They're fine. Very niche, very kind of very hard to find both things like that. We're just going to pretend that didn't happen. And so one day I realized we followed each other on Instagram. And I was like, you know what? I've never personally found a way to merge what I'm doing, but also go back to music photography, because music photography is what I started out in before I even got into weddings. I didn't do weddings until I moved out to Texas. But to find somebody who is doing both of them and doing them both so well, I was like, holy shit, okay, it's not just like a random thing that I thought I maybe could do. I realized I followed Madison on Instagram, and she had followed me, and I randomly DM'd you one day, and I was like, do you want to like get coffee? I don't know. Shoot my shot. And you were like, yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. I can make friends. And we got coffee, and we spent like 3 hours at this coffee shop, and she told me about this idea. Like after we had realized that we were in the same pit for a lot of things. I think the first one we were at the State Champs and Simple Plan show together.
And, we had a photo that was almost like identical to one another, and I was like, oh my God.
Yes. Yeah. And
fun fact, we both took a photo of Darnell.
Yes.
Who, if you're in the Dallas area you attend concerts, you know Darnell.
We love Darnell so
Darnell.
much. Yeah. Darnell is like one of the base layers of our friendship, I feel like. Yeah, so we both took a picture of this fan in the pit, and then we both took identical pictures of Derek from State Champs.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, cool. We love doing this, and we have like the similar style or whatever. And you told me about this idea about like people meeting each other in line, and you had this idea. It's called Backing the Barricade. You have the Instagram handle for like 3 years.
I didn't have much, but I had the name.
You had the name and you had the website.
Yes.
You had the domain.
I bought it like 3 years ago, and it sat and did nothing.
And then I was like, perfect. Let's do it. And you were like,
I was like, oh.
You were like, okay, we'll do it.
We can just do it?
Yeah. Okay. And I was like, yeah, why not? Because I love just interviewing people. I love talking to people. And if you get people to talk about something that they love, they'll talk for hours about it. And I was like, people who wait in line for concerts will talk to you.
I remember you telling me that like journalism was something that you like semi wanted to pursue. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, she's perfect. Yes, she's exactly what I needed.
Journalism and documentary, like photography. I remember right before I moved out to, when I moved out to Texas, I was like talking to different like media outlets to do like journalism and like photojournalism work for them. And then I just came here and my life changed like focus. So I was like, oh yeah, we're doing it. And then I think a few days later, we were like, hey, the 1975 is going to Miami.
Yeah,
we should go.
They came to Dallas.
Yes.
But I can't remember why.
I went.
Because I went too. And I don't know.
Show.
There's a reason why we didn't start it in Dallas, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
And I think, I kind of remember. I had bought tickets because I have a friend in Miami who's also a big concert person, and she was going as well. Yeah. And I kind of bought them on a whim because they announced the Dallas date late. That's what it was.
They were playing ACL.
Yes.
And so because of the whole, we can't announce a whole tour date close to the festival, whether the festival was already announced, the like logistics side of it. So we didn't know if they were having a Dallas date. So we had the Miami tickets secured, and we're like, let's go to Miami.
So then they announced Dallas, and we were like, okay, we'll enjoy that show. And then Miami will be a fun
we'll see what happens.
We'll launch this thing.
Yep. And we did. I remember I texted you. I bought a $30 plane ticket. I wonder if I have the text still.
You probably do.
Keep talking.
Yeah. So we found a $30 Spirit flight from Dallas to Miami. And we hopped on a plane with our cameras, and that's about it. And then we made our way to Miami to start this thing. And it felt really, I feel like it was a good way to launch it because it felt exciting to us because we were in a new place. And, we kind of traveled specifically for this. And so it felt like a big deal as opposed to just like going to a show in Dallas, I guess. So we kind of made the launch into a big deal to kind of, I feel like, hype ourselves up. So we went to Miami. It was a euphoric experience because we were so nervous. We were little babies and didn't know what we were doing. We did not have any of the gear we have now. So the fact that we got usable content is just a miracle. But we showed up. There were fans in line early who had dressed up. And as soon as we made our first little pitch to people, kind of explaining what we're doing and what we wanted to interview them, everyone was like, oh my gosh, yeah. And everyone just started talking. We got to talk to so many cool people. We got really, really cool stories out of that. We got awesome content. People started showing us their tattoos and telling us stories about, there were 2 girls who met in Dublin at their show because they had both gone by themselves to the show in Dublin and realized they were both American, and just...
It's on the Instagram. You can see the whole thing.
Go look at it. Yeah. There were so many cool stories. And I remember walking away from our interviews and I was like, oh my God, this is going to work.
I remember walking up to them the first time, and we both kind of looked at each other and we took a deep breath in, and we were like, all right,
here we go.
And then we were like, so you guys like the 1970s? And they were like, yeah. And we're like, how long have you been here? And honestly, then it just kind of snowballed into X, Y, and Z.
And it's to Laura's point where she was like, it's so easy to talk to people because you're all there for a common interest and a common love. So once you get people talking about things that they're passionate about, it's so easy to just
keep going.
Yeah.
And we left that show or not even the show, just the line. And we went back to the hotel and we were like, whoa, we did it. Like people wanted to talk to us. I think that was like the big thing.
Yeah. People were like eager to talk to us and excited to tell us their story.
Right there.
Yeah. I think we got like 20 followers and we were like, oh my God.
Yeah. We were like, wait, that was so good. And then we went to the show and we had a great time and we danced and we drank and
too much.
I was great. I was fine. I had lizard time the next morning. Madison was hurting.
Madison was not in good shape the next day, but that's okay. We had a great day.
We had a great day. And then we flew back home the next morning. Yeah. And we were like, I remember waking up in like my bed and I was like, that really happened. Mm-hmm. We really are doing this.
I keep just describing it like this, but it truly felt euphoric where I was like, oh my God, this is going to work. Like, this is a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we were like, all right, next show. We didn't really stop.
Yeah.
We came back to Dallas. We came back home and we were like, holy shit, this is working. When is the next show? What are we doing? Let's figure out a plan. How do we want to do this? What do we want to do exactly? And honestly, the biggest, I think, thing that I've had to tell you and even me myself sometimes, it's like, there are no rules to what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's literally whatever we want it to be and everything's trial and error.
Yeah.
And so I kept that in mind when I pitched this idea to you.
I was about saying that's how Beyond the Barricade was born. So here we are.
Here we are. Madison was very clear about, in the beginning, wanting Backing the Barricade to be
fan-focused.
Fan-focused.
That is at the heart of everything.
Yes, and that will always be the heart of everything. And so that's what I want to emphasize to everyone listening. We won't ever do anything that's like... we don't really want to get into like show promotion and like tour like things. Like this is always going to be about the fan and about the feelings and the experiences behind shows. My cats are... Oh, God.
It's fine.
Yeah. We always want everything to be fan-focused and fan-centered, whether it be the fans before the shows or the idea that I had, which was artists and people in the industry. I called Madison one day when I was driving home and I was like, listen, people that are doing it now, like as a job, as a profession, they were fans of music. They like music, I think is what I said to you on the phone. I'm like, they like music too. And
it was a big epiphany. We were like, oh my God, they're music fans.
Yes. Yeah. And so I was like, what if we do this thing kind of like Backing the Barricade, but it's like, it's different. It's like further, it's like more in depth and it's going to be like the artists. Because I also wanted a way to talk to the people that fans are freaking out over, like they're waiting in line because I'm like, they have a story too. And I was like, why don't we introduce the idea of like when they were a fan? What ignited something in them to be like, I want to do that. I want to pursue that too.
Yeah. And so that's the idea behind Beyond the Barricade. Beyond the Barricade. I'm going to mix up those words so often. Mm-hmm. And so that's really the heart of Beyond the Barricade is we want to interview artists and people in the industry in any capacity, but from the standpoint of them being fans and kind of take it back to before they are wherever they are now to when they were just a fan of music and what their life looked like back then and how that influenced, you know, literally making this their profession and turning this into their job and their life.
And we have already. We've already have a little arsenal. And so the first episode, if you haven't already listened, you're picking your order, which is great because the first episode that is released is Max Bemis of Say Anything.
And he was amazing. Great one to start with.
His energy was so fun. So there's are we releasing video too for that? So you can listen to just the audio or you can watch the video as well.
Highly recommend the video.
Amazing. It honestly, and I listened to the podcast episode the other day just in my car and there were things I told Maddie, I was like, I felt like I was like following along to an interview and I forgot it was me talking and like you talking for a second. And I was like, what is that moment? And then I had to remember, oh wait, I know. And I'm not going to say it now because you can go watch it, honestly.
I will selfishly say the lighting in the green room of the House of Blues was not my friend. My hair looks whack, but it's not about me.
No, it is not.
But also that's just a fun little thing for you to look for. So there you go.
Comment about Maddie's hair.
Maddie looking crazy.
So our first episode is Max Bemis of Say Anything. We've also interviewed tour managers. We have Gail. We interviewed
Chevy, who is a makeup artist. She wears many hats, but I personally think makeup artist is the coolest one. She was on tour with Black Veil Brides doing makeup. She's so cool. So we have
many interviews, and we have a lot more coming like down the pipeline too that we're really excited for in the fall to happen. And
the goal for it was to be pretty diverse as far as jobs go, because we wanted a good mix of obviously artists that people are like excited to kind of know the backstory behind, but also just cool people that work in the industry. Like I didn't even know makeup artist was a job title, like a touring job title. So
there's a lot of people behind the scenes that don't get the recognition that they deserve, but also play such a huge role in the production of everything and making sure everything runs smoothly on stage for the hour and a half that you see like a show for the headliner. Like, so we're like, obviously everybody has a story of how they got to where they are, and we're going to tell it.
Yep. And you can listen along.
Yeah. So in short, and I say that very loosely. As we've rambled and taken many of cuts for cats and time and everything. That is the heart of Beyond the Barricade and the kind of goal and premise of Beyond the Barricade. Did I say beyond or backing?
I don't remember.
That is the heart of Backing the Barricade and the heart of Beyond the Barricade.
We're going to mix those up so often.
Absolutely,
I can't wait for it.
It's like having two kids.
Yep.
How many times have we been called Michaela?
Oh my gosh. And it doesn't help because my name is Madison. Obviously, my sister's name is Michaela. The amount of times my mom will go,
I hate
Madison,
when my mom
Michaela.
calls me John.
I'm like, yep. Well,
just kidding. I have
human.
three brothers. Yep, that's fine. Anyway, so we kind of gave you a brush up on that. I have questions. For us.
So to end this little introduction to Beyond the Barricade, we asked on our Instagram stories for people to submit questions.
Yes.
Which we're going to answer.
We are. And L'Oreal is so prepared. AKA, I have to find them. Okay, found them. That was so easy. I'm so smart. Okay. Are you ready for some questions?
Yeah.
Because there was no pause. There was no gap in there. People weren't waiting.
No.
Because Hayden's amazing. Hayden is also our podcast manager, audio wizard, if we haven't already introduced him.
We love him. He's the only reason we can function.
Correct.
It's great.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. First one. We're gonna kick it off.
I actually forgot these, so this will be a fun little like surprise.
Me too. This one is from, I don't know, I'm not going to say who it's from because people's names are like, I don't know their username and that's awkward for me.
That's fair.
Yep. How do you guys manage to run this account on top of keeping up with your daily lives? I don't.
Not well.
No, I'm in
We don't sleep.
I don't sleep.
L'Oreal does not sleep.
Actually, you have been keeping up a Lor schedule as of late,
which is not a compliment.
Good. No, it's not something to strive for. You don't get a medal. We don't sleep a lot. I don't sleep a lot.
We try to balance it as best we can. And we try to divvy up. Well, we attempt to divvy up responsibilities as much as we can to lighten the load. L'Oreal has a lot on her plate already, so I try to take on more than I should.
That is very true. It's not like a power grab at all.
No.
She doesn't want to like relinquish things. She's like, you work a 9 to 5.
I feel bad giving things to her.
You fell asleep at 4 a.m.
Yeah, because L'Oreal, like when I say we don't sleep, I mean L'Oreal does not sleep. L'Oreal averages like 3 hours of sleep a night. I don't understand how she does it. So it's hard for me to give her things because I don't want to add any more to her plate.
And then I just kind of take things that I can handle.
Yeah.
Like I'm on emails right now. I'll respond.
Yeah. But we have been better too about now we're kind of getting some partners and some people behind the scenes that are helping us with stuff. So that's been helpful. But really, because the thing that we are always going to be the ones doing is being out there at shows and interviewing and talking to fans because that's what we love to do. That's why we started this. Mm-hmm. And so
we're very hands-on people.
Yes. Yeah. So we're trying to work on kind of outsourcing some things that can be outsourced.
Correct.
But it's a lot.
I think also too, like keeping up with things on our daily lives, it really helps when this is something that we would do on the daily.
Yeah.
Like we're
we want to do this.
photographers in general. So we're going to shows just as fans. Like we went to the Bleacher show just to see.
Yeah.
We went to 21 Pilots for the vibes. Madison saw the show.
I attended.
I hung out outside.
L'Oreal's a real one. She flew to Columbus strictly to hang out.
But listen, what a trip that was. There's also evidence on that.
Yeah, we'll get more into that later.
One day.
That'll be
that's another episode. Yeah. So how do we keep up with our daily lives? Focusing on the really good times. Catching up with sleep one day of the week.
One day. Saturdays.
I have been trying to listen to my body more after I crashed last Thursday.
You've done better.
I have.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And working off of each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah. It's a balancing act.
Yeah.
We're figuring it out.
We are. If anybody has any suggestions,
let us know.
That's so cool. That's so cool for you guys. What's the earliest memory you have of music having an incredibly deep impact on you? I remember the first time me getting listening to something and being like, oh, I like this. And that was my oldest brother, John, showed me Linkin Park for the first time.
Ooh.
And I took his hybrid.
How old were you?
Oh, God. Whenever Hybrid Theory came out.
Ooh.
He had the CD and I took his CD out of his room and I had a boombox and I put the boombox in this is such a vivid memory. I put the boombox in my dining room in the corner and I had I think it was like a cassette where you could also record.
Oh.
And I took my cassette and I recorded the CD.
Oh my gosh. So you would have a copy?
So I would have a copy of it. And it was just Hybrid Theory. And I remember falling in love with it. And then I think I was reading the CD booklet to read the lyrics to it. And then I saw Chester and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this band. This is so cool. And so Linkin Park was I think kind of the first band I was like, oh, I like this. And it was somebody told me about it. Mm-hmm. I think that's the first time music in general, not going to a show or anything like that, because I think that's another question.
Yeah.
But music in general, hitting me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine is dumber than that. I've shared this on my Instagram story before, but I just think it's so funny. I was definitely later to the game as far as becoming a music fan and discovering the music that I liked than L'Oreal was. I was in high school when I first really started to discover my music taste, all because I thought a boy was cute. In high school.
For a man?
For a boy. Not a man, a boy. But there was a guy that I went to high school with who I thought was really cute. He was kind of in our friend group, but not really. So he was around. But he was a big fan of ALLLLL. And him, God, okay, I'm going to maybe out him. I don't know. Him and his older brother would share videos from straight to DVD, the videos from that concert on Facebook. And I remember the summer before, or maybe summer before junior year of high school, was when I dove in and I started listening to you would look up on YouTube interviews with bands and everything. And that was the first time that I really dove into music outside of what was on the radio and what everyone else was listening to. So I started because I wanted to like something that this cute boy liked as well. And I actually ended up becoming a big fan of ALLLLL. ALLLLL was the first band that really kind of got me into the pop punk scene. My first tattoo was ALLLLL lyrics. So it kind of spiraled from there. It was a dumb little start, but I'm very thankful to this boy from high school that I thought was cute, who never went anywhere, but it changed my life because it's why I am who I am today and why I like the music that I do.
I would like to add on to that because I know I'm very quick to spite people and to be the fuck that guy or fuck that girl. But I will say people can introduce things to us that are huge parts of our lives it's okay that the people themselves who introduced it are no longer in our lives for whatever reason.
Yeah. And think of how chaotic your life would be if everyone you've ever anyone that's had some kind of impact on your life is still in your life. That would be crazy.
Not be here. Backing The Barricade wouldn't be alive.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm very thankful for crushes in high school that went nowhere, but did give me my love of music.
That was same. Also, side note, y'all.
So that's my earliest memory right there.
We love that. That's so fair. What's the next concert?
Oh. What is our next concert? Oh,
Bitch, we're going to NoahCon.
Listen, I can't think more than 12 hours. I was going to say 24, but that's
falsely too much.
L'Oreal, continue.
We're going to NoahCon in Austin, Texas. We're going to be doing some fan stuff outside, and then we're just going to go to the show and enjoy it. Yeah. We're not shooting. We're not doing anything else work-related this weekend. Because work-life balance. Yeah. And we're going to go, though, and we're going to talk to people outside because, honestly, NoahCon has really dedicated fans. And mental health means a lot to him and a lot to his music. And so I think that one will be a really fun one for us.
Yeah. And I think it's such a testament to how quickly he blew up and became so big that, like...
You usually have a following like that with years of being in the industry, if you're lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the fact that he has such a huge following now of only being really out on the scene for like 3-4 years. Yeah. I feel like recently
he's doing something that people relate to, connect to.
Yeah. And so we're going to go talk to you guys and figure out what's happening.
What's up?
Are we going to go to any of the Band Camino / Knox shows that were announced recently? Maybe. I would love to.
They don't have a Dallas date, do they? Or do they?
I think they have an Austin. They're going to AC. It's the ACL venue.
ACL Live. Yeah.
We're going to probably try. I mean, I don't see why not.
We have it on our calendar.
Yeah, we have it on our calendar. We love Knox. I mean, and Camino.
We love both.
Yeah, we just shot the Knox show last time he was in Dallas, so it'd be really nice to see some familiar faces because his fans he is a young artist.
Yeah, but he has diehard fans.
He has diehard fans already, which is awesome to see, and he's super fun.
Also, the Band Camino is the first concert that we went to together, which is so cute.
When L'Oreal was dumped by a boy like the night before.
Yeah, but we had a great time.
We did. That's a story for another day as well, because I'm sure we'll have Band Camino content.
We will.
Does pineapple belong on pizza, Madison?
Yes.
That was really a question.
I don't even know. I don't know your feelings on this. I'm an avid
belongs everywhere.
Okay, great.
That's
why we're friends.
We don't say pineapple can't be wherever it wants to be.
No, we don't. Yeah.
I fucking love pineapple. Have y'all thought about getting into band promo and music videos?
No.
Well, Madison, I mean, as Backing The Barricade goes...
Band promo, we have our own spin on it.
Correct.
For what we would like to do.
Yes, and
I want to preface by saying kind of what we were saying about how we don't want to become like show promo or a media outlet because there are already people that do that so well. I don't think we need to add to the noise. That's why we made this publication because we genuinely feel like it's a space that's not being filled. Mm-hmm. So we do have a twist on something that we would like to do.
Yeah, and I think we probably won't say it fully. And
okay.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
We say it privately to each other. That's so weird.
It's really not that big of a deal.
It's really not. No, I mean, we can say it if you want.
Yeah.
I mean, just use your imagination, fuckers. Like anything that, just like close your eyes and think about if we're doing fan-centered content. And yes, we want to collaborate with the band and really show the side of the fans and intertwine it all. So as far as like band promo and video wise, like we're doing that kind of already. And like we're toying around with the idea and throwing it out. Yeah. Into the universe.
We've got some ideas that we hope come to fruition. Yeah, so we got some things cooking maybe.
Does Backing the Barricade plan to expand? AKA, can I work with you all and cover shows in other cities?
Eventually, obviously, we want to grow to wherever or however big this will take us. But right now, we're pretty comfortable with our team. Yeah, and I think we want to do what we're doing really well before we try to
bring on others.
Yeah, we don't want to try to grow too fast, and
we want to expand our kitchen before we add more cooks into the kitchen.
Ooh,
have you ever heard that?
I've never heard that.
Well, I've heard the whole there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Like when you have a whole bunch of people trying to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And so we want to establish ourselves, and then we'll add. We'll get bigger. And then obviously we can't do everything ourselves forever because we're taking this to the moon. And so, yes, one day we will have others, I'm sure, join us for various of things. And also there are people who do things better than us.
Yeah,
and we are very well aware of that.
Our first hire was Hayden, our podcast manager. Shout out Hayden. He's helped us tremendously. So much. I think we're also kind of refining, and figuring out our processes and everything. Yeah, so not right now, but
thank you.
Yeah, in the future.
Yes. When are we going on tour?
It's a great question that we can't answer. Ask every band you know.
You tell us. Yeah. When are we going on tour?
You tell us.
Also see previous question that we just answered before.
Yeah.
Hire us. Somebody said, I love what you guys are creating.
Thank you. We do too.
We do too. We're very excited. What's your favorite part about your job? And how did you meet? We kind of just answered the how did we meet part.
Yeah.
But what's your favorite part of our job? Without being cheesy, being like, honestly, meeting the fans.
I mean, yeah, that honestly, from a little more just like, I don't know, not superficial, but just like the rooms that we are allowed into and the shows that we get to see because of what we do that we otherwise wouldn't is not, we don't take that lightly. We don't take that for granted. So we get to be in a lot of cool rooms and meet a lot of cool people, and go to a lot of cool shows that we wouldn't if we were just buying tickets as fans. So
I think a cool thing for me is seeing my two worlds collide.
Ooh, yeah.
I think there's a weird one of my 9 lives that I've lived.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was just like being intertwined with music and bands and just like being a fan too, like multiple different things. And the fact that I've been able to kind of marry all of these like little things in photography and interviewing people and creating things, putting it all in one like little cute box to give to the world and be like, here you go. This is what I'm doing. This is me. It's very fucking cool.
Yeah. It is really cool working on a project where it's kind of like you said earlier, like we would just do this for fun.
Yeah.
Like it just feels so perfect for who we are as people.
There's so many times too where when we went to Boys Like Girls and we shot it, we just shot it. We weren't doing Backing the Barricade at the time, I don't think. Yeah, no, that was right before like our first show. We just shot it for music fun. And we're like, oh, L'Oreal's a concert photographer again. And then we were just like dancing to Boys Like Girls like in the back of the pit because we were like, this is fun. This is like our lives. And so I think that's my like favorite part of it. And like seeing like Jason Avery like at their seats and they're like, oh, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, we don't know what we're doing. Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool.
It's a fun little world to get to live in.
It really is. Somebody asked for a merch drop.
You know, I've been toying with the idea of merch and I want a Backing the Barricade shirt real bad, but I don't know if other people would.
If you guys want a Backing the Barricade shirt, dad hat.
Oh, dad hat. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Probably.
Maybe one day. I mean, yeah.
No, for sure. We'll do merch. I don't know when. That's something else we have to figure out because we are just 2 girls.
We are just 2 girls, and honestly, who would wear it? If you guys would, a biggest thing for us is a proof of concept. So if we have people that say like, oh yeah, like we want it. If we see a need for it, we will fill the need.
Yeah.
So
let us know if you want merch. Or if you're like, that's stupid and I want to wear it, that's fine.
You can keep that thought to yourself. Final question. What are some artists on your dream list to see and photograph and do Backing the Barricade with?
You know, I am very fortunate that I feel like I have photographed all of my there's not really a bucket list.
Madison's a fucking talented ass photographer, guys. She's shot Taylor Swift. She's shot 21 Pilots. She's shot everybody you want. Noah Khan. Like, sorry, go on.
If you continue to listen to this podcast, you're probably going to hear me reference 21 Pilots many a times because they are my favorite band. But I've been fortunate enough to photograph them, which was like a huge, huge bucket list band. I photographed Fall Out Boy, which was like another just kind of like,
a band you listened to like when you were a kid.
Yeah, that like I first, really got me into the scene. Taylor Swift was obviously like a huge moment. So I'm very fortunate that I feel like I've shot and seen my bucket list bands, which is really cool. Do you have any that I
mean, I think so.
That you haven't seen live? Because I know there's a few that you want to photograph.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a few that I want to photograph that just put on like a great show. And I mean, like the Taylor Swifts of the world, because they can do no wrong. And just there's so much energy and effort put into like set design, costume design, and the fans go all into. So
the visuals are just
are great. And so it's like, how do you take a bad photo? You don't. But like, I think specifically, like when I think of Backing the Barricade in general, I think of like the big things that we can do with it. And so kind of like what we mentioned before with like, working like with a band, like I think a dream thing would be to do some sort of like longer term, like documentary-ish / like a longer project documenting fans and that band.
Ooh.
So like going on tour with a band with intention of like creating more curated content.
I love that.
And I think like kind of like categorizing that, pop punk music is my favorite.
Yeah, always.
And it's so fun and energetic and fans getting to it. I love mosh pits and I love getting in the pit with people.
L'Oreal just like launching herself into the pit with her camera is my favorite thing to witness at a show. She's like, I'll be back. I was like, okay.
Here, take my backpack. She's like, have fun. I'll be on the balcony. And literally I get my way in the pit. I'm like a little kid. I look for Madison and I'm like waving to her and she's like, all right.
Good luck.
And then I crowd surf out and it's great with my camera.
Yep.
You guys, we take care of each other out there. It's fine. Yeah. So I think that's a goal. For me, like that would be like a huge like, holy shit.
For
like,
sure.
We did that and we're doing it well. And because everything that we do has intention. It's not just like, I want to shoot a band and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah.
And that is Beyond the Barricade. And it's going everywhere.
Thanks for listening.
It's not the end. Yeah.
No. Oh, this is just the beginning. We're just getting started, man.
We are. But thanks so much for listening. Again, episode 1 is out now. Max Bemis of Say Anything.
Yes. We've got so much already done, and that's kind of in the queue.
Yes.
And so much coming.
Yep. Make sure you're following us we are on all of these social medias, I believe. We have Instagram at Backing The Barricade. TikTok is Backing The Barricade. And just so you guys know, not everything gets posted on all things.
That's true.
So you have to check them out.
Yeah.
There's longer things that go on TikTok.
Follow both.
Different stories that we do on Instagram. So follow everything. And then our website too. Sign up for the newsletter.
Yes.
We will ask things. We will post like exclusive content from different shows on the website in longer formats.
Yeah. Sign up for the newsletter. It's only it's a monthly newsletter, so we're not going to like spam your inbox. But that's also where we'll send all the updates. If you don't want to, if you're like, I can't check every single platform, I get it.
Yeah.
We'll send you the highlights of what we've been doing that month and what we're doing the next month.
Yep.
So
like a little check-in, and then you can follow us individually as well.
Yeah. At Earth to Madison
and at L'Oreal Michelle, and then Michelle has 1 L in it. One day maybe we'll change it. For now. Yeah, you can follow our individuals. They're tagged in our Instagram bio and stuff.
But yeah, that's us.
That's it.
Thank you for listening along to Beyond the Barricade. We hope you stick around.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.